Hello everyone and welcome back to another Movie Nights movie review. Today we are talking about The Idea of You, directed by Michael Showalter and starring Anne Hathaway and Nicholas Halitzine. Let's dive right into this review. This is a rom-com movie, which isn't typically my genre of choice. I like movies of all genres, but I genuinely don't guide towards these, so I kind of went in with kind of lukewarm expectations, and I'm happy to report that I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. This might be one of my favorite rom-coms of the 2020s, maybe tied up there with The Broken Hearts Gallery, because I really like that film, but I was very pleasantly surprised by this film. I think the positives really start with the script that was written by Showalter and by Jennifer Westfeldt. The screenplay does a really great balance of navigating the tropes of a rom-com that you're used to seeing while also layering it in really deep character moments that make you realize after the fact that they just did a rom-com trope. You find yourself kind of being caught up in the story and not realizing the storytelling tropes that they're bringing you, which I found very interesting. There's actually a point really late in the film where Anne Hathaway, after a very emotional moment, kind of chuckles to herself, and then at that point, you as the audience kind of go, oh yeah, like we're feeling this way over a rom-com, and the movie kind of gives the audience its own permission to laugh at itself, but it does it in a way that's not disingenuous to what you're seeing, because the film does take itself seriously where it needs to be, and of course it has fun when it wants to be fun. There's also plenty of funny moments in the movie. At the screening I saw it, it was half critics, half public audience. Lots of laughs, and I will say I'm a little bit sad that it's going straight to streaming, because when I saw it with an audience, my entire audience was eating it up, really liking the movie, and it just kind of sucks that people won't get to have that communal experience. But either way, I do think people will find enjoyment at home as well. I also want to talk about the direction a little bit as well. The movie doesn't look like typical rom-coms. It is shot a little bit differently than that, which was a nice surprise. I did like the shot construction and the use of the camera angles in this movie. And since it is sort of a mid-budget streaming movie, it does have some constraints with its cinematography, but I think it does a great job with what it had. The movie does look quite nice. And something that I think the film really relies upon are the two lead performances from Anne Hathaway and Nicholas Halitzine. Their chemistry was amazing. You really felt connected to these characters, and you felt for both of them and the journey that they were going on, particularly Anne Hathaway's character. The movie does a really great job of pointing out the situation that they're in, someone being in their 40s, being in their 20s, and it's kind of a reflection of something else going on in her life where the genders are swapped. And the movie does a great job exploring the differences between the two and how one is treated differently than the other, but it doesn't go out of its way to do that. It naturally feels like a part of the story and a part of the character's journey, which was nice. And if these two leads did not work, the entire movie wouldn't work. You laugh when they need to be funny, you are sad when they need to be sad. The movie checks all the boxes and does everything that it needs to do to give you a satisfying story. And speaking of the performances, any longtime fans of the channel and Movie Nights may recognize someone in this film. Roxy Rivera plays the role of Jody, and she was in our short film, The Local, which, shameless plug, you can watch on Apple TV. Not even saying this as, her friend and someone who's worked with her. I would tell her if she sucks. She was excellent in the movie. She did a fantastic job, and it was super cool to see her in the movie. And since I knew someone in the movie, I almost was trying to be extra hard on it, because I'm like, I don't want there to be like a bias. Like, I want to watch it and review it honestly. And I kept looking for things to dislike, and there's not much. But of course, the movie isn't perfect either. Obviously, with the rom-com trope, I mentioned earlier that they do a great job of being able to hide those tropes within its storytelling, but there are two instances where I feel like the movie didn't do the best job of that, and I won't give it away. But in every rom-com, the characters kind of go through situations of being apart, then together, then apart, and I think the transitions of going between back and forth, one of them worked really well towards the end, the other towards the beginning, I think didn't work very well, just because the way that Anne Hathaway's character is and how she's established and how she acts, it felt very out of character for how she reacted to a certain situation, which led to one of their breakups in the movie. And as an audience member who was really invested in the story, I was a little bit taken out by that moment, but they make up for it in the second half and how they handle the situation in the end. The actual ending of the film, too, while very heartwarming and very nice, that did kind of go the, traditional rom-com route with that, but you like the characters so much and the journeys that they're going on that you kind of don't mind the movie kind of earning its cheesiness towards the end. Because honestly, for the most part of this movie, I genuinely felt for the characters. I wanted them to be together, which is a huge thing you need in a rom-com is you want the characters to want to be together. And the movie did a great job of playing with the rom-com tropes while also hiding them very well within the story and giving the audience permission to kind of laugh at itself, but also feel deeply. And I think the biggest positive I can give this movie is its R rating. And you might be thinking like, oh, is there like gratuitous language and sex in it? Not at all. But what the R rating did is it allowed the movie and this romance to feel very intimate and very personal, that I feel like with a lot of PG-13 rom-coms, you don't really get. Those are kind of very face value, and this movie felt a lot deeper than face value. And I think having that R rating and allowing that intimacy to really grow and shine within the movie, especially through the chemistry of the leads, it significantly helped this movie and this rom-com. And like I said, color me pleasantly surprised. I thoroughly enjoyed this film. It premieres on Prime on May 2nd, which, depending on what time I get this review posted, it might be when you watch it. I will definitely be watching it again, and I highly recommend that everybody seek out this film. And once you watch The Idea of You, what did you think about it? Please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next review.